Hey everyone, so I thought that I would go through my Steam library and talk about the turn. Well, I have a lot of games in my Steam library, as you can see here. And then I have also other ones in other libraries, but I wanted to talk about turn based tactics in this first review. Um, because it's a cool genre and it is a genre that can be run on pretty much on like most computers, like this first game, Battle Brothers. You can run it on basically anything. And as it says in the description, it's a turn-based tactical RPG, very hard, very unforgiving. I personally found it to be very repetitive, but other people do not. It's one of the most timeless of the tactical turn-based roguelikes, and it is a lot of fun. I would suggest if you want to pick it up, it probably goes on sale. Yeah, I don't. I mean, if it goes on sale for under 20 or something, it's probably worth it. There's a lot of DLC. I only have one of the DLCs for it. Um, yeah, so I'm not sure how many hours I have. Probably like 60 in Battle Brothers. Um, and yeah, moving on. There's Battlestar Galactica Deadlock, which is a pretty good game from what I can tell. I haven't put too much time into it, but it's spaceships. And, I'm making something similar to that, sort of. Not really, though. And, but, somewhat. And so this one is set in outer space. It's what you would expect for ship to ship turn based combat. I found it to be I put like a couple hours in, and the campaign mode was kind of slow to get into, but it did seem like it could be a good time if you got through the initial, like, early slog. There's BattleTech, which is another game. Battlestar Galactica and BattleTech are both like harder on the graphics compared to like a lot of the other ones on here. So yeah, BattleTech is a mech warrior turn-based tactical game. It's fun. We'll check the cost right now. Yeah, $40 is a lot for it, but worth watching going on sale because it is a good time. You get huge explosions and rockets and lasers and all kinds of stuff. I wouldn't call it particularly deep on strategy, but it's all right. You got Darkest Dungeon, which isn't fully turn-based tactics. Darkest Dungeon is sort of in its own category, as well as Irritus, Lord of the Dead. I mean, these are the turn-based tactics where you have four versus four enemies usually, and then like all of your four units have their own abilities. And then it's roguelike in that sense. You should just Darkest Dungeon is a huge, huge, huge game with a massive community. So, um, it's sort of its own thing compared to these other games. It's not too much of a hidden gem or a. You should just watch reviews on it or anything like that. You see how I have tons of friends who have played, and then Deep Sky will probably have zero. See, so Deep Sky Derelicts is a game that tries to be a lot like Darkest Dungeon, and it's more than a knockoff. It's cool. And it has cards also, so it implements cards, and it's a lot of RNG in my experience. And I don't know, I found the visuals to be a little lacking compared to other games in the genre, but other people like the visuals. It stays mostly card based. So Deep Sky is cool to pick up on sale also if you want to play. I would say if you like Darkest Dungeon and then get bored of it. Certainly not worth $20, I wouldn't say. Certainly not. Buy Darkest Dungeon instead if you haven't. DOS 2, Divinity Original Sin 2. I mean, in my opinion, this is the best turn based tactics game ever made. there's not much that has to be said about it because of how famous it is and everything. It sets the gold standard in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else I could say about it. I haven't even played Baldur's Gate 3 yet because I'm just waiting for it to be mature because I'm not I'm not waiting. I figure if I really want to scratch the itch, I can I can finish my second Divinity Original Sin 2 playthrough. And I don't ever do more than one playthrough in single player games. I almost never play single player games. So for Divinity Original Sin 2 to have me actually do a second playthrough and get up to Act 3 as a lone wolf is on the hard difficulty. I usually just play another game, which is why I have so many. This is a very, 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 very good game. Doesn't matter how much it costs. It costs full price, $60, I assume. It's dropped down to 45. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So Fallout Tactics is a really old one. I haven't played it yet, but I'm sure it's good. But it's old, so as long as you don't mind it being old, I'm sure it's good. It's a lot like Jagged Alliance 2, which is over here. Fallout Tactics and Jagged Alliance 2 are kind of similar on this list in that they're both very old games. Jagged Alliance 2 is from the 90s. I believe Fallout Tactics is also. They're very, very, very good games. Very good games. But they're old. So, you have to deal with the clunkier UI, the clunkier controls, the weaker graphics. But besides that, they haven't aged in terms of the quality. It's like StarCraft Brood War, right? Where the mechanics are janky and a lot of things are outdated, but the core game is awesome. Especially Jagged Alliance 2. Especially Jagged Alliance 2. If you're going to play an old game, this is a good choice. For sure. For sure. I'm amazed that it hasn't been reiterated and redone. It's because it's hard. This is a good game, and the way that the campaign works and the way that it's implemented is hard to emulate. But people are doing it. But anyway, yeah, you can just watch a quick thing on Jagged Alliance 2 if you're interested in playing it and trying out an older game. And then you got Gears Tactics, which is a newer one. It's on Xbox Game Pass, so I wouldn't buy it. For sure, don't buy it like I did. It was a mistake. Play it on Game Pass because it's not worth full price. I paid like $60 for it. Whatever. Yeah, so it's fun, but I would just, if you have Game Pass, download it and try it because it is fun and it's definitely entertaining for a solid 10 hours at least. And you get to chainsaw people, Well, not people. You get to chainsaw monsters, even better, So, yeah. Gladiator Guild Manager is a new one. I played the beta and I just downloaded it tonight, so it's what I'm going to do after I'm done with this review. It's 9:45 p.m., so I'll probably play it for a couple hours. The demo was very, 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 very fun, guys. So, this is like you form a party and you level up your dudes, kind of like Darkest Dungeon. Into the Breach is one made by a very famous indie studio who also makes, God, who is it? Subset? Who also made Faster Than Light, yeah. So FTL is another, it's not fully turn-based, but it basically is. It's combat with pause, but yeah, they made Into the Breach. I never personally liked it because it's very, very unforgiving, but I do think that the progression system is very cool, where you unlock new factions in cool ways, and the factions actually are truly unique. But I don't like the core gameplay. It should be really cheap though, right? Yeah, $15. As you see, I have a down review on it with 740 people finding it helpful. Wow, that's my biggest review ever. And yeah, I basically said in it that since it's so unforgiving, you don't really get a chance. Like, if anything gets damaged, you're kind of screwed up. But a lot of people like this game, so I won't put my personal opinion. I won't give it too much weight, only because a lot of people like it. Invisible Ink's an awesome game. It's cool, but I would watch a video before you buy it because it's kind of weird and different. I've only played it for 4 hours, yeah, but that's because I have so many of these kinds of games and I'm getting new ones. But this is a very good game that I will go back and finish at some point. Yeah, this is one that I intend to finish in 2022. Maybe even not play all the way through, but give some more time to. Jagged Alliance 2, we covered it. Jupiter Hell, fantastic game, awesome game, brand new. 10 out of 10 stars, wonderful. You only have one character and it's turn-based, but it's much faster paced where like when it's simultaneous turns. So when you do an action, all the enemies do an action. But you don't have to like take your turn and then wait. So it's very fast paced. It's very action packed. It's awesome. Jupiter Hell is a fun game, and I think it's under $20. Oh, 25? Yeah. I mean, maybe wait for a sale or check it out, but it's very fun. It's simultaneous, kind of like Tangledeep. Tangledeep is the other simultaneous turn game on this list, and it's not as refined or good as Jupiter Hell. Tangledeep's a very good game, though, atmospherically. It's just that it has so many more mechanics than Jagged Alliance. Like, you have a pet system and all this stuff, and they just don't fit well together. So Jupiter Hell kind of shed that weight and just went straight into the dungeon combat and just made it awesome. Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. I kind of consider it just a knockoff of DOS 2, but it's not. This is combat with pause, and then they added a turn-based mode into the game. In my opinion, the turn-based mode, you might as well play DOS 2. But if you prefer combat with pause, Pillars of Eternity is that, and also, its own thing, different flavor, its own lore. I could never get into it personally. It's just not really my kind of game, but yeah, a lot of people like it. Pyre was made by the same people who made Transistor and Bastion and Hades. Hades will show up in the roguelike review. I believe it's not Chucklefish, Supergiant, yeah. So Supergiant Games makes a lot of very wonderful games, and Pyre is their weakest release. Like pretty much universally considered. And it's still worth picking up on sale because any of their games are, if you can see how beautiful all their games are. And if you just want a very beautiful scenic experience, see Pyre's cool, but the actual game, like the mini game, kind of gets old kind of fast. However, if you look at the art, I mean, like you can see, the game's beautiful, All of Supergiant's games are. Steamworld Heist is fun. It's a side-scroller turn-based. See, you don't get too many side-scroller turn-based tactics games, but this one is. So it's like a platformer, But you still have to do, there's still tactics involved. And my fiance played this one for longer than I did. I think she has like 20 hours on it. I would go back to it and play it again. It's fun. You get some really cool characters. There's good progression. It's a cool, like, kind of, like a comic, like a jokey vibe. Like overdone, intentionally overdone, like cowboy, robot, space vibe. It's pretty funny. Tangledeep we covered, yeah, simultaneous turns, kind of too many mechanics, but it's fun, especially the casino, when you unlock the casino. I just kind of blew all my money in the casino and then didn't play anymore, because the casino is fun, but yeah, 9 hours. It's worth more than that, but it's still, it's not as refined as it could be. Teamfight Manager, I would say it's a lot like Gladiator Guild Manager. But as you can see, Gladiator Guild Manager looks really cool. And I feel like in these kinds of games, watching the team fight is like one of the best parts, right? It's kind of like the whole point. And this is just a pixel game. So even though the mechanics if you're just interested in mechanics, Teamfight Manager is awesome, but the pixel art just didn't do it for me, because if I'm going to be watching, like, you know, the guys that I train up and do all that, like, fight, then, and if it's just, like, not even very, like, pretty, by pixel art, I don't mean pixel art, I mean, like, low, you know, really low bit pixel art. So, Urtuk is really good. I have 25 hours and I've never gotten through the first section. But that's because I like to start over and like try to do a perfect run. But it's very fun. Urtuk is a fun game and it should be cheap. $20 probably goes on sale. It's a hex-based turn-based tactics, yeah, as you can see. So, and then, dude, there's so many different kinds of units. There's all kinds of different stuff in this game. There's so many different ways you can play to win in this game. That's why I like doing the perfect runs, is because it's like, I like perfecting all the different strategies with different starting parties, and just that is deep enough for me to get 25 hours and climbing. Like, I played it last night for the first time in a while, and I just went like one spearman and two really heavy guys, and the heavy guys just block while the spearman does the damage. And then, like, it's totally different from what I used to do, where I try to get on the back line and assassinate. And then there's like proper mixtures, and the game throws in, you know, you just get like a random guy in your party. Urtuk's fun, man. If you like turn-based tactics, I would say for sure you should pick up Urtuk the Desolation. Wasteland 3, have to pick that up too. My god, this game, this is a good game, guys. And so is Xcom 2. I mean, I guess saved the best for last, but these are like full price premium games that aren't indie games. Like, you know, most people know about these games to the extent where I don't need to review them or talk about them or like bring them up. But Wasteland 3 and XCOM 2 are awesome. Chimera Squad's okay. I would say that it's better if you're just looking for like a lighter, shorter experience. I would say Chimera Squad is worth picking up. Otherwise, get XCOM 2. And then only get Chimera Squad if you're bored of XCOM 2 and don't want to play Phoenix Point. Yeah, I didn't bring up Phoenix Point on here because it's on the Xbox Game Pass. So I kind of figure, like, if a game is on Game Pass, like, and you're interested in it, just play it. And then if it's not on Game Pass, then it's worth, like, checking out a review beforehand, you know. But at least play the tutorial of something on Game Pass if you're going to take the time to watch a review. However, this can also be a heads up for a game you didn't know about. Phoenix Point is like an XCOM clone made by either the guy or one of the guys who made the first XCOM. And then, yeah, that closes out the turn-based. Cool. So, yeah, guys, I hope that it was, I hope that you find something in here that you didn't know about and that you could check out, add to your wish list or whatever. Cool. Sounds good.